from Will's VG Addiction. I like to keep my eye on what Jason is doing. Metal Jesus. I've got my reasons. I watched his Japan videos. The whole time, all I could think about is your point about how these charlatans try to portray themselves as just everyday regular old Joes who are scraping by. Airbnb? Really? I like how he really tried to downplay the cost of everything and never mention what he actually paid for anything he bought. When he picked up an expensive game and looked at it in the store, he did this signature, it's a bit high and more than I want to pay. Well, when others are paying your way, what do you care? For the record, I lived in Japan for 2 years, just moved back to the US a few months ago. This dude stayed in an expensive area of Japan, and the stores he went to will often double the game prices due to the heavy tourism and people that just don't know any better. The games he bought may not have been $1,000 game individuals, but they were not cheap. He spent a good grand at least on what he did get. I also found it interesting that his good buddy Kinsey would pick up the cheap $3 to $5 games that are literally $1 bin junk in areas without heavy tourism and pawn that crap off at exorbitant prices at conventions, and people eat it up. It amazes me that people will buy trash from The Crew at a markup just because of the relation to MJR. I'll try to keep this short and sweet. I don't want to retread over a lot of the same ground as my comment of the day a couple days ago when I spoke on the Japan trip. But two things. The last thing you say was the exorbitant prices at conventions, the reselling of a lot of that stuff. I did follow the Metal Jesus feed, and I saw a picture of Kinsey reselling some stuff. I'm assuming maybe a lot of that stuff she has is stuff she maybe picked up, and she's reselling that stuff. I'm guessing probably at a higher price. I mean, it's part of the business, right? You're gonna go get you some games and you're gonna resell. That's one part of the big business. But the thing is, since it's Kinsey or it's Metal Jesus, people will probably pay more and they'll probably ask more because it's freaking Metal Jesus. It's freaking Kenzilla. So that's part of the business because of who they are. They're going to be able to jack their prices up when they go places to resell games. So, it's just part of the business. I don't know if I have particularly a huge issue with that. Some people might. I mean, yeah, it's kind of sucky in a way, but, it's just part of the YouTube retro gaming business, I guess. The other thing you mentioned that Jason's trying to talk about Airbnb, and he's trying to, put it out there that just anybody could take a trip to Japan. Just anybody could drop their bags and take a trip to Japan that's pretty cheap and everything. When the fact of the matter is, you can tell from the trip, that was not a cheap trip. He was in a very nice area. Like you said, like Gajillionaire said in his comment, he left a similar comment that got an honorable mention. You've been there. You know the areas. Anyone that's been there can tell that he was in some very high traffic, expensive tourist areas. Okay, he wasn't on the outskirts. He wasn't looking for deals. He didn't care how much he paid for the games. He was like, I just have all this Patreon money burning a hole in my pocket. So, I don't care about getting any good deals. I'm just going to go wherever and get games. When you're trying to, that might hurt your Patreon donations if people actually knew, and he's trying to thread the needle here because he's probably thinking, I don't know if I should post this expensive Japan trip. I know, maybe I'll tell people that I used Airbnb and everything. So I'll make it seem like that. And there's a reason he focused on that one expensive game and said that, Will. You saw it, I saw it too. It's so he can basically refer back to it. See, there's one expensive game I didn't buy.